All right. Fantastic. The New Year Revolution. Oh, it sounds so cool. I think so anyway. Maybe that's just me. Welcome everybody. I just wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping. If you've been on a GoToWebinar before, the fewer browser windows you have open, the clearer the connection most of the time. So I just wanted to give you that little tip. And I've already let you know that we're starting recording. So as I said, just keep your hand down if you don't want to come off mute and have a chitty chat on the recording. So cool. I'll just let you know who I am. My name is Shan Lawson and I'm from Your Accountability Buddy, and that's a picture of me there. And yes, I roll out of bed every morning looking exactly like that. So there you go. Right, let's launch into it. Goal setting. What is it? Why it's important? And what sort of goals do you have? There's lots and lots of great information out there on goal setting. You can type it into Google and you'll get a multitude of hits, and lots of people have fantastic ways of setting goals, and they are just so important in your personal life and your business life. Many people start goal setting, particularly at this time of year. We're coming into New Year resolution season, and people, it's time to dust off the old year and start with the new and set something to step forward and, make a change. And they usually start out really excited, and they have a plan and they know what they want to get to and probably most of the steps as to how they're going to get there. Then they're completely mystified when they just stop going after their goal. Now, I'm very passionate about helping people follow through as well as saying what needs to be said. Sometimes your friends, God bless them, will say probably what you want them or what they want. Hang on. What they think you want to hear. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's nice and that's great for friends, but sometimes you really need to just hear the truth and hear that you need to push forward, you need to get back on track, and that's where Your Accountability Buddy comes in. As I said, I'm very passionate about keeping people on track because they set goals for really good reasons, and I just want them to keep after it. And I really want people to get out of what's called habit hell, that they just keep repeating the same patterns over and over and over. We also set goals all the time, whether we realize it or not. I mean, if you have a meeting planned somewhere and it's at a specific time and you get up in the morning, you get dressed, you get in the car and you get to that meeting, that was your goal and you met it. So, and I was explaining this to someone the other day, and because she had said, I'm terrible, I can't set goals, I just can't do goals, and I gave her that little analogy and she said, oh yes, that's fine for small goals, but I can't do big ones. Interesting. The process is the same whether we realize it or not. I guess it's the importance we place on our goal and what it's going to mean to us to get it. So I just want to check in if anybody here has any goals or areas of goal setting that they wanted to share. If you wanted to type it into the question pane. Doesn't have to be, I'm not going to read any of your goals out, but just, if you have a broad category of what you might want to head towards in 2013. Anyone? I'm just checking. No? No goals? Okay, that's fine. My personal belief in whatever goal area you're setting, whether that's finances, whether that's relationships, whether that's, I can't say health because I'm about to tack on, that I believe a health goal should either be one of your goals or should run alongside any one of your goals all the time, because having really good health is just key to you getting whatever kind of goal you want, whether that's relationship or, finances, etc. it's important to have a really good relationship with you, so that you can get what all the other parts of your life that you're checking on. Sorry, I'm just checking on the question pane again. Okay. Excellent. So I hope that all makes sense so far. Now, moving down. That's one of my favorites, and I'm sure we've all heard this one a million times, but there it is again. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So setting yourself up with, you know, not only a good long-term goal, but a plan of the way to get there, it makes life so much easier. So, change slide. What's stopping you from getting your goals? Before you set out on your goal setting and before you start making your plans and all the bits and pieces that go with that, it's a really great idea to think about what goals you've set in the past and what has stopped you from achieving them. You can recognize what's been holding you back and reframe it, or you can put a sort of a different slant or a different meaning on it. If you attach quite a negative connotation around not achieving it, that can really disrupt you moving forward in the future with any goal setting. The other thing that might have stopped you in your goals in the past was not thinking big enough. You really need to set yourself a dream, and I think a lot of people when they get older just forget how to dream. As children, we're fantastic at it, and even into our teens we have great ideas of all different possibilities. The older we get, we forget how to dream, we set our goals smaller, or we stop goal setting altogether. So when you're going through this process of what has stopped you in the past and what comes up for you, or what gives you some tightness in the tummy when you think about why you didn't meet that goal, just take a note of what comes up for you. And then try a different approach, because I think it was Einstein that said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So yesterday's thinking is going to get you today's results. So look at that when you're writing all this down and just think, what happened previously? Why didn't I go through that? And then another great question to ask you while you're thinking about all this is, what is it costing you not to get this goal? It might be okay today, you know, it could be a nice, your goal could be a nice to have and not a biggie if you don't have it. But if you don't take action towards your goals every day, then the consequences are going to accumulate. What isn't such a big deal for you now is just going to roll and roll and roll as the years go on. If your level of finances don't increase, in 10 years' time when the cost of living and everything else has gone up and you're at the same, you're actually going backwards. And if you're not growing, you're dying, as they say. So it's very, very important to go through this process of what stopped you in the past and plans on how to move forward. Now, I just want to check. I don't know what non-attentive means. Oh, there's so many little buttons on this control panel, so I hope you're all still with me. I'm unsure what not attentive means, but that's fine. We shall press on. So the next stage in goal setting, you've done your whole list on what might have stopped you in the past, and you've thought of ways that if that comes up again, you can have a different look at it and have a different reframe and think about it slightly differently, and that's going to just arm you in the future really, really well. So now I want you to do the other extreme and think about how you would like it to be. And I want you to dream really big on this. Like, you just can't go too big, just go nuts. Think about things like, what would it give you if you got that goal? And just really paint a vivid picture, or really make the thoughts as vivid and bright and realistic, if I can use that word, as possible. paint a really bright picture, as I said. Think about the things that people might be saying to you when you reach that goal, or what you might be saying to yourself, and how it would make you feel, and how it would make you feel when you looked at the faces of your friends and family and when they're just so proud of you and so pleased for you. Put all of that in when you're writing it down, and how would you like it to be when you've achieved that goal? Just, as I said, what does it look like? What does it feel like? Just absolutely go to town on this. You just can't write too much. It's just a really, really, really fun exercise. And this is where you need to really change your thinking and start making some new decisions. To start something new, you have to stop something old. So just put down those thoughts that you came back with on the what was stopping you, and just really start to think, how can I think about this differently? How can I approach this differently? Who do I need to be to make this different this time? Because, you know, like, life is not a dress rehearsal, so why not make it extraordinary? I was watching yesterday, actually, the movie Groundhog Day. I don't know if you've seen that movie. It feels like Groundhog Day when I see it. I've seen it so many times. But it was quite incredible that this man's living the same day just over and over and over, and he wasn't really changing his approach. He was expecting the rest of the world to change to him, and he wasn't really being much of an asset to the world. He was just take, take, take. And it wasn't until he did for others and gave to others and thought of others and became an asset that life really changed for him, and he didn't mind he was living the same day, because it was, even though it seemed to be February 2nd all the time, his days were very, very rich and different and full of variety and full of love and full of contribution and giving back. And of course, ultimately, when he got the girl, it became February 3rd. So don't make your life like Groundhog Day. Just be an asset to the world is one of my little favorite sayings. Just be an asset, and you'll see how different and varietal your days will come. Now, does anybody have any questions on the two exercises so far of, I'm just checking the question pane, of thinking about what stopped you previously and then thinking about how you would like it to be? Is there any questions? Dude, you got your hand up. Hello.
Hi, Shan.
Hey.
Hello. Hi. Yeah, I just want to say, can you see my questions? Because I've been typing in questions and answers for questions that you asked.
Oh.
Is there any way you can see maybe a scroll box so you can scroll through?
Hang on a second, because I'm not enjoying if I'm missing your questions, guys.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Bear with me while I just find it.
It's okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll just mute you again. Is that all right?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, guys. Technical interruptions. I'm just trying to find, I think I... wow. My answer, Serene, would be no, I can't find where the little scrolly box is. So how about we try a different approach, guys? If you're game to come off mute and you have a question for me, can you just raise your hand? Does that work for everyone? If I see raised hands, I'll assume it does. Okay. Oh, it's all fun and games on my very first webinar, but that's okay. I'm sure we'll get there. So I don't see any hands up in the air. Oh, he's a good boy. Yes. Yes, Doreen.
Hi, Shan.
Hi.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just have a question. Sorry, brother. No, I just want to thank you for the one of the things that you said, which is the unreasonable. Sorry, unreasonable. The friends, rather than telling your goals to your friends or others around you who rather not support you or tell you things that you want to hear. So because one of the things that I've learned recently was to have unreasonable friends.
Okay.
So people who are going to challenge you and kick your butt if you don't do what you say you're going to do. So I think, yeah, that's a brilliant concept.
Thank you. So you think a bit of butt kicking is required sometimes?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, I know I need my butt kicked sometimes, so I thought perhaps there's probably other people in the world that might respond as well, so thank you.
Yeah, I think sometimes we do things for others rather than doing things for ourselves. So if we have someone that we don't want to let down,
True,
then,
absolutely.
Yeah. I don't, am I talking too much?
No, please go on.
Yeah, no, it's just, I think that's all I have to say. And thanks for the exercises that you asked me to go through.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I feel reconnected with my goal now because before it's just sometimes you have your goals, but it's rather distant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
You're very well.
Okay, keep going.
Can you tell me what area it's around?
It's around health.
Oh, cool.
For me personally at the moment, it's health.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I stopped going to the gym a while ago, so now I'm making plans to go back.
Love it. Good man.
It's a new goal, so thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you. And like I said, if you have any questions, please raise your hand if you're not too shy. We're a small group, so, you know, have no fear. Cool. So there we are. The other thing I wanted to say about dreaming big and thinking about how you would like it to be is, although we get very, very excited, and a friend of mine even said to me once, she framed it as that she starts out with evangelical kind of force. She gets so excited that she's just spruiking it left and right. And that's great to be really excited, but try not to get too evangelical around too many of your friends and family in the beginning and try and convince or convert the world into exactly what you're doing. I mean, I think probably a few of us would have come across an ex-smoker who just thinks it's the greatest thing, and it is. I think, you know, to give up is fantastic, but then they want the entire world to be non-smoking and they tell everybody they come in contact with. So perhaps, you know, share it with people that you felt out that, you know, are in a similar mindset, but put some runs on the board first. You know, I know some of my family I've had many brilliant ideas and share it and try and convince and bring on board all the time, and I need to prove myself a little bit first. So a great statement that Brian Tracy said was that teach men at the school of example, for they will learn at no other, and I think that's absolutely brilliant. So by all means, get pumped, dream big, create it as vivid and beautiful as you possibly can, but you don't have to have absolutely every person you come on board with, the guy standing next to you on the bus and the guy giving you change down at the supermarket. You know, they can probably do without it for a little bit. So that's just a little tip that I've learned the hard way. So there you go. Okay, moving on. SMART goals. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a sip of water. Now, I'm hoping everybody here is familiar with SMART goals, but if you're not, I'll just run through it very quickly. It's specific, so you need to set a very specific goal. Actually, the more specific, the better. It needs to be measurable, so it needs to have a measurable result by a certain time frame. It needs to be achievable, so if you have never played tennis in your life and your goal is to win Wimbledon next year, you may want to check on the achievability part of that, and that moves on to the next part, which is realistic. I don't really like the word realistic, but there are just some constraints around some talents and skills that you may need to develop to achieve your goal. And the last part is time bound. And that I think the start and the finish of that, the S and the T, are the most important parts of your goal setting, because you really, really need to be specific, not just I would like more money or I would like to lose some weight. You really need to say how much, you know, how you're going to do it, sort of not in detail that to that extent, but it needs to be specific. And then it has to be time bound, because if you don't put a time on it, it comes back to the old, you know, how long is a piece of string kind of thing. So that's a quick rundown on SMART goals. A really, really cool tip when you're doing this is to frame it as a question. So before you've created your SMART goal, when you're trying to work out, so if you say, I want to earn $100,000 in the next 12 months, for example, structure it to yourself as a question. So say, how can I achieve $100,000 or earn $100,000 in the next 12 months? And then brainstorm 20 answers, and don't try and edit them. You know, they might seem to have come out of left field, and some of the best answers do. Just sit down and brainstorm 20 answers, and surprisingly, the gold often comes out in the 20th answer. So don't get to 10 and say, that's enough, it's fine. Take your time on this exercise, work your way through it. You can leave it for a bit, walk around, come back. I find, pardon me, I need to come back to that exercise and another idea will pop while I'm walking the dogs, etc. But you need to get to your 20 answers around that framed question. How can I, whatever it is I want to do that in the next whatever time frame you're setting on that. If it's a goal as such as that you want to do over 12 months, then break that down into 90-day sections, so into 3 months. And work out, then set goals for each of those 90 days that are moving you towards that ultimate figure or weight or level of fitness or new relationship or whatever it is that you've set up for yourself. SMART goals have been around for a really long time. I'm sorry, but I don't know who to credit with those. If anybody knows that they could, I was going to say type it in the box. Given I've lost my box. But they're a very proven method of goal setting. It's been around for a long time. It works. Many, many, many people use it. And it's just like following a recipe. So just take hold of that framework and set your goals that way. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And that will help you get really clear and work you towards your plan of getting your goals. So what goes wrong? You followed the recipe, you've made your goal in the SMART format, you've read all the material, you've looked at stuff you've done before, and yet still sometimes it goes wrong. And those my 3 little gremlin friends, I call them, come up, and they're self-sabotage, loss of motivation, or the dreaded old procrastination. with best will in the world, sometimes these little gremlins can creep back in, especially if you try and go it alone. If you haven't created a community of like-minded people or shared what you're trying to do with someone else, and you're just trying to achieve this goal by yourself, sometimes in the deep dark recesses of our mind, one of these or all of these three little thingies just manage to creep their way into our minds and kind of put us off track and derail our valiant efforts that we've been making so far. And that's a universal thing. It all comes back to, the coaches on the line will know, it all comes back to some fears creeping in, and that's perfectly normal, but it generally tends to be what takes us away from what it is that we want to do. And here's a lovely, lovely little quote from Gandhi that kind of gives me some strength in the moments when the gremlins try and attack me. And it's, be the change you want to see in the world. I just think that's absolutely beautiful. So if you want to pop that one down, be my guest. It's just a fabulous, fabulous saying. So how do you turn it around when the gremlins have started to strike? How do you turn it around? Well, here is what I recommend that people do. It's a daily dose of gratitude and goal setting. So get yourself, if you don't already have a journal, get yourself a beautiful journal, or can just be a notepad or something that you write in every day. You can type onto your computer, but I just find there's something really beautiful in putting the words down by hand, and I think it activates a different part of your brain. So if you don't already have a journal, I highly recommend you get one, and you start a daily practice of gratitude and goal setting. Now, the gratitude can be about anything and everything, and it's amazing once you start to write it. It flows. It's an incredibly uplifting and amazing exercise. It's best to do it when you first get up in the morning. If people have heard that term, hour of power, it doesn't have to be for an hour. You can do this for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but I suggest that you do it when you first get up in the morning, and the thoughts and the inspirations and the pure gratitude that you have for life just seems to come so easily, and it's a wonderful, wonderful exercise. You need to do it uninterrupted, so if you have small children, you're probably already dipping out on some sleep, so I'm sorry to have to recommend that you get up even earlier to do something, but if you can, it's a fantastic way to start your day. After you've written down all of your gratitude and the things that you're really, really grateful for in your life, then you can do your daily goal setting. And you'll find when you're coming from this place of gratitude and love and contribution, thinking about your goals and seeing how you can have them and how you can make them come alive is a much, much, much easier process. So I really recommend the gratitude and goal setting each morning. If you have quite a big goal and you tend to do overwhelm sometimes, and you get stuck, or the gremlin pops up and you think, it's too big, it's too much, I'm not sure, can I do this, all of those wonderful questions that pop up. It may be that you haven't broken the steps down small enough, and I think a lot of people think that if they've set a time frame and if they break it down into really, really tiny little pieces, they're not going to meet their time frame, or the time frame is going to be too long. I think break it down as small as you can to start out, particularly if you do overwhelm. And then as you start to build momentum and you start knocking over each one of these little steps, these little baby steps, you'll find that you get faster, and the momentum just builds and your goal just starts appearing and you can see your way forward. So if it still seems a bit overwhelming, too big, that sort of stuff, go back to your task list or your sort of action list around your goals and break it down a bit smaller, and then just look at all the things you've got to do and pick one and do it. And as I said, you keep that practice up and the momentum will just pick up. It's amazingly wonderful, exhilarating feeling. You must take action towards your goal every day, or days even, as I've written there. Every single day, do something, even if it's just one thing that is going to move you towards your goal. If you start to do the compromise that I can't work on it today, but I'll do 5 actions on Friday, it's going to trip you up. So even if it's a really small thing, if it's one phone call or one email or 5 minutes of extra exercise, 10 minutes on your walking machine, or whatever your goal is around, do something towards it every single day and don't give up on it. Get a buddy is surprisingly, there's my tip for you, is that you should get a buddy. And that doesn't obviously have to be a company like mine, your accountability buddy. Your buddies can actually be real or imagined. Your buddies can be a person, they can be an animal figure that you really admire, like a lion or something really powerful, or it can be a cartoon character, a superhero that you have, or an action figure that you have from childhood, or your favorite character from a movie. Or another really fun sort of buddy system, if you're doing the imagination thing, is a television crew. If you walk around thinking that you're in your own documentary, this is the story of Shan on her quest to lose 10 kilos. If this documentary film crew is following you and your every move in your mind, it's amazing that you'll put the Tim Tams back in the fridge, because you really don't want to be filmed and broadcast nationally doing that. So there's another little tip of mine about what your buddies can consist of. You could also have different buddies or avatars or heroes, whatever term you want to call them. You can have different ones for different goals. So for example, my avatar hero for my weight loss journey is Michelle Bridges from The Biggest Loser, who also has that 12-week body transformation program. I just can hear Michelle Bridges, kind of kicking my butt if I'm not doing what I should be doing and following through on what I said I would follow through on. Then in my business life, my hero is Sharon Pearson, who's the head of the coaching institute that I study with. And if I'm not following through on my business goals, I have Sharon Pearson in my head kicking my butt, as it were. And you can do this as well. It works for me to have these different areas of your life, to have these different avatars, role models, mentors, butt kickers, whatever it is you want to call them. So you just choose what is going to be most appropriate for you. But of course, your buddy can be a real person if you have a really supportive friend, family member, business colleague. It's up to you, but I really recommend getting and sharing and having someone real or imagined on your team, being your cheer squad or your accountability kind of person. I hope that all makes sense and I haven't gone off into too of weirdo land for you, everybody, but I think you're all still with me, so that's good. Does anybody have any questions at the moment? All good? Good, okay. Setting your milestones, you'll obviously do that as you've broken your goal down. There will be, whether that's a weekly milestone or a monthly milestone, set those, and when you get to them, celebrate. And this is a really, really important aspect of the entire process, because reaching your milestones and getting towards your goals should be fun. It should be really exciting and terrific, and it should just fill you with joy because you're doing it. You're getting there and you're doing it, and look, I've just passed another milestone. So when you celebrate, it can be in any way you choose, whatever lights you up, whatever's fun for you, whatever's great for you. I like to involve a lot of music and singing and dancing and bopping around. That's just me. I really celebrate with a lot of dance, and it's obviously just for me. It's not a sight to behold, let me tell you. But I also, I get myself fresh flowers and things like that, things that just make me really, really happy, because it should be so much fun, and you should make that another habit and really work that into your life, that getting towards your goals, setting goals, getting goals, passing your milestones is an enormous amount of fun, and it's just a joyful, joyful process to go through. Oh, you can tell I'm on a high. So this is something we were talking about before with Therain, that you need to be around positive, like-minded people that are really going to be on your team and not bring you down and throw water on you, and or just tell you things that they think you want to hear and be nice to you. But I'm contradicting myself a little bit by saying you need to be around positive people, but positive for the fact that they're on the goal-setting mission too, not that they're just saying stuff that you want to hear or to shut you up or whatever it is that they're trying to do. Really, people that are focused on the same sort of thing that you're after. And it's the old law of attraction. If that's what you're focusing on, you will attract those kind of people into your life, and vice versa. So get yourself on a community. If it's a health goal, then join your local gym or be on Facebook groups. Just hang out with where healthy people hang out, and just try and immerse yourself into it as much as possible. Also, setting up your environment to help you be even more successful. Having a clutter-free place makes it easier for your mind to flow, so your goal setting will come easier. You'll be happy to be in your environment. So if you have a home office, have it as clean as possible, or wherever it is that you do your goal setting, where you've created your space, make it as delightful for you as possible. As I said, I like to have fresh flowers. I like to have an oil burner, and I start doing my gratitude, and I start doing my goal setting, and it's just really, really pleasant, and it adds that element of fun, and it makes it just so much easier, and it will really set you up for success. The other thing is to dress for success. If you look good, you feel good. So as I work from home, and it's very tempting sometimes to just do it in tracky dacks, but I highly recommend getting up, putting your makeup on if you wear that. If you're a man, obviously not, but always having nice pressed clothes, just feeling fresh, owning that I'm a go-getter in the world kind of persona will really, really make the entire process just so much better. And a mantra. I would like you all to choose a little mantra that, if the gremlins are starting to come up and your buddy's in your head telling you what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing, think on that, but then use your mantra. And mine is very, very simple. Mine is see it through. And I use see it through for everything I'm doing. When I'm about to take a shortcut, even if I'm brought some groceries in and have just dumped the bag and thought I'll do that later, I say, see it through, Shan, and I put them away. If I thought I'll just leave my hair messy today, probably no one's coming to the house, it doesn't set me up for my dress for success rule. See it through, Shan, takes me 5 minutes, and I feel so much better. So I think that's a really, really cool little tip, and a few of my friends have done this just over the holiday period, and they said it made such a difference to them in such a short amount of time. So if you like See It Through, please, my gift to you, take it, enjoy. But if you have your own and it's coming to mind, then jot it down real quick and use it all the time. It's really, really does work. Okay. Whew. I feel like I've been talking forever. Does anybody have any questions for me on all of that goal setting and making it as successful and fun process as possible? You can just pop your hand up if you have a question or a comment or some feedback on all of that. Nope, you've all gone quiet. Okay, that's fine. So I just wanted to tell you about what your accountability buddy is. There are 3 different programs. One of them runs over a 4-week period, and I have 2 others that run over a 12-week period. And what it consists of is weekly webinars and daily exercises and daily quotes of inspiration and just lots of really positive reinforcement goal setting exercises. There is a private Facebook community just for your accountability buddy participants, and it's not the one that is live that you guys may have seen. It's just for the people that are on the program so that they can share their goals, share their wins, share their fears if they have any, you know, even be each other's cheer squad or each other's, you know, butt kickers if that's called for. But it's a very private little chat space where everyone is setting goals and getting goals, and it's a lot of fun. So that's part of the program. I also offer phone and email support, so it's not just an online program and you're set to it and left by yourself to your own devices. If you wanted to pick up the phone and ask a specific question or send it to me by email, I will gladly help you through anything that you're facing at the time that you're doing your goal setting process, or trying to break the steps down, or whatever it is that might come up for you while you're going through this. In the 12-week programs, I offer laser coaching sessions, which are 20-minute, really fast, get straight to the heart of the matter kind of sessions, and depending on which program you're in will dictate how many of the laser coaching sessions you get, and that also goes for the one-on-one coaching sessions. They're included in the 12-week programs. And ultimately what I am is what Thoreen and I were talking about before. I'm your cheer squad, I'm your hand holder, and when it needs to be, I'm your butt kicker, which is absolutely the best thing any friend or person can do for you, because if this goal is important to you and you want to see it through, I'm there. I'm there for you, and I'll just help you through it in whatever way or shape or form it needs to happen. So that is what I offer. That is what it's about. That is my take on goal setting and making it as successful as possible. So I've left some time now for questions. Does anybody have any questions or comments or feedback? I'd love some feedback, as this was my very, very first webinar. If anyone's game to raise their hand. Oh, hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you hearing me well?
Very well.
Great, great. Thank you so much for the webinar.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I had a question. One of the around big goals.
Yep.
And it was, not dreaming big enough. And for me, that has been an area that I know that would be worthwhile to improve upon. So how do I connect to my audacious quest, if you like? How do I do that? What's your advice?
My advice, that audacious quest, I love that.
Yeah.
As always, how far out are you currently going with your goal setting, like 12 months, or What sort of...
Yeah, it's quite sporadic. So I do have some 3-year goals, and I do have some 12-month goals.
Yep.
And but I find that they're all very not so much achievable, but you know, they don't get my pulse racing, and you know, the excitement factor is a bit low.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that. I think you should do the ultimate start with the end in mind. I think you should go all the way to you actually not being on this planet anymore. I mean, that's about as far as the end in mind you can start. And it's that exercise of, you know, what did you want to be remembered for when you shuffled off the planet? What did you want people to read out at your eulogy? What do you want to be best known for? What is it that you contributed to this world that people were just still talking about you, and you made such a difference?
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Does that help?
Yeah, yeah. I've done that exercise before.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's maybe, you know, maybe it's like that what I would like people to say is it's kind of quite humble. It's like, you know, I'm not out to really leave a giant legacy other than to know that, you know, there was more love in the world because I was around. You know, like simple things, really quite simple expressions of what I'd like to leave behind, rather than, you know, a humongous business or, you know, those sorts of things. So
yeah, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't have to be around, you know, you built a huge empire, etc., etc. But I don't think creating more love in the world is a small goal. I think that's fantastic. I just think you need to ramp it up in ways that I think might get your pulse racing into how you saw that coming into being, whether that was through, you know, it could even, I mean, your eulogy could be, nobody ever knew, but, you know, she started this mission, or she created this charity, or she built these homes. What is it that's going to make more love in the world for you? And then go back to your 20 questions. How am I going to make that happen?
Yeah, cool. Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for the question.
No worries.
Okay. Brilliant. Does anybody else have any questions for me? And I'm just wondering, any feedback, any comments? I'm happy to take it. I just found the question just in time for the end of the... can't say it wasn't entertaining. So if there's anyone that doesn't want to come off mute but now wants to type something in, I can read it. So thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, there it is, people. I hope you got something out of it and something useful, and I hope you're all set for 2013 and you're going to set big goals and dream big and just make a huge difference of the world. And if you want someone to keep you accountable and keep you on track, you can find me at youraccountabilitybuddy.com.au. Cool. Great. Thank you. Have a great one, everyone. Have a fantastic year, and I hope I'll be talking to you all very, very soon. If there's nothing else, I will say good night. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Bye.